techtime.com.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mum, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Nathan Mum, your host and a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise. Our co-host here, Mike Day, is in studio, and he's the award-winning author and human behavior expert. We are live streaming, of course, during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to come and visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. We are friends from different backgrounds, and we work each week to bring the best technology show possible for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie, our producer, at the control today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mum, buckle up as we dive into the latest tech news and stories that are going to keep you on the edge of your seat. Now, we're starting out with the Intel broker, a controversial entity that alleges selling a database containing classified Europol data. This breach raises serious concerns about the security and the potential impact on criminal investigations. Meanwhile, Apple has publicly acknowledged their recent iPad Pro advertisement maybe missed the mark, promoting a discussion about the brand perception. We also are exploring a fantastic history on wireless technology, and Gwen Way is joining us for our Gadgets and Gear segment on another new gadget. Now, nostalgia is back in town. We are now learning about how to rewind cassette tapes with a pencil, as Taylor Swift music is available for purchase on cassette tapes. Are tapes making a surprise analog comeback?
Please no.
This is an interesting deal because I really like the record stuff, right?
We talked about this.
Yeah, so love the records idea. There's a distinct sound of records, but tapes. Do you know how many of those Maxwell tapes I had? No. And you'd put them in your
tape. I have a problem with this because tape cassettes were a pain in the neck.
They were. And they always jammed up. At least every 2 years they would jam up on.
Okay, but we can talk about that.
Okay, all right. Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay, and then Mike explores the realm of mental health with an Oxford University development in a digital tool that recommends personalized antidepressants based on extensive data. And finally, the perennial questions. Do we have spies among us? You're going to have to stay tuned for Tech Time Radio to learn more about that and other great discussions. In addition, of course, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, a possible Nathan Nugget, and of course, our pick of the day, whiskey tasting, to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. But now, it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, the U.S. bans China crypto miners from nuclear base area. Let's go to Corinne Westland for more on this story.
Intel broker is selling a database of allegedly classified Europol data. In May 2024, Europol suffered a data breach, which exposed FOUO, short for official use only data, suggesting that the data is internal and possibly classified. The compromised data includes information on Alliance employees, FOUO source code, PDFs, documents for recon, and guidelines. The data is known to be generated by different Europol departments, including the European Cybercrime Center, the Europol Platform for Experts, the Law Enforcement Forum, and Sirius. I am sure that this will make you and the listeners go,
All right, so let's talk about this. So essentially we have a business that buys land next to a known
nuclear
facility in Wyoming. It's called Mine One Partners, and the White House has given them 120 days to sell their property. They currently, right now, use it to run crypto mining operations. Approximately, the real estate strategy missile base area was not under known purchasing processes, which means it was kind of processed through an LLC, the facility was. But that's pretty normal. If you buy something as a business, you purchase it as an LLC. You don't always say what you're doing. And I don't think necessarily Mind One Partners is really a bad name if they're crypto mining. But the U.S. White House says that this is concerned and it's a national security risk. So my question is our government making... So I had a conversation about this on my way in today. And my understanding on the last documentary I saw regarding our Missile Command nuclear warheads was ran by floppy disks. And it was like a big article on 60 Minutes, or it could have been like Dateline USA. I don't know, but it was a big national news report that was out there that essentially was run by floppy disks. So if it's run by floppy disk, if you have somebody next to you mining data, the chances of them getting the codes of your nuclear missiles are probably pretty small, right? Of breaking into any of this. I've never really heard of the U.S. before in news going after a company that was crypto mining in this area on this pipe that's available underneath what's going on now. It could be a shared pipe.
Well, what's the factor here that I don't think you've mentioned yet?
Well, it's a Chinese-owned company.
Oh, okay.
Chinese-owned company, and the U.S. has a growing concern. It's kind of like China is becoming the new Russia in the Cold War area.
I think every single company or country out there is doing this to everybody else.
Okay.
You know, I'm sure that China is trying to hack into Russia, and Russia's trying to hack into China. And
so do you think that this person has this mining cryptocurrency that's affiliated with China, and they're trying to get into our nuclear codes? And I mean,
I don't know. That's you know, maybe. How much plausible deniability do I need to have to say this is a dumb idea?
Well, I don't know. I just everything can't be us versus China, can it? I mean, that's what it is like. So TikTok, it's China, so we're gonna get rid of it.
Okay, this is what you're talking about. Is called recency bias.
Okay,
because we've been talking about China a lot. You're automatically going to this idea that we're China bashing.
Okay, a little bit, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is not. I can't. I don't have any information to verify what's going on, but there's obviously enough information from somewhere that the government is saying, no. Yeah. You guys are too close, and what you're doing is a little bit too hinky, and you need to go somewhere else.
Okay, yeah. I just found it very. I would hope our military system and our missile and everything need to be at a level where the United States. They need to be at a level where we have security and processes in place for that.
Everything needs a level of this. I just got an email this morning.
Okay.
That Kaiser Permanente got hacked.
Yeah.
And that's all your
they may
have
stuff.
They may have all my medical records, right? Yeah. So that's
and then what they do, they give you some free I
don't know. I just read the first few lines and I'm like, here it is.
Yeah, so so they'll give you like some cybersecurity company you can contact and help you for your credit.
I'm gonna go and
I hope our systems. I mean, if somebody's crypto mining next to me and I have to worry about them coming on into my personal home, then I'd have some real security breach problems that I would need to take care of.
The fact is that we talk about this all the time.
Yeah,
and one of the things that I complain about a lot is that the technology does not equal the responsibility of the humans that use it.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
Right?
Yep. I agree.
Every one of these systems has its flaws, and every one of these flaws can be taken advantage of if somebody knows how to take advantage of it.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, here we are.
Well, that was a breaking story, so we're absolutely covering it. I'm sure there's going to be more
So where are you on this story?
Well, so I sent a text message to my buddy Nick Espinoza, and he said nothing to worry about. He said, but he'll find out more as things go on if there's like this big concern about it. The last story we're going to cover, my fourth story, he says that we need to worry about.
Okay,
but I don't need to worry about this thing. He says this is just people getting overzealous and having a good time.
This sounds to me like it could be look at us. We're doing something against Chinese hackers.
Yeah,
or maybe that's it.
So if you're a common person and you hear about this, just as
you call me a commoner.
Well, no, just as a person that listens to that, you're going to probably say, "Great, America is doing a lot for us because look at they're trying to take care of this person that was over here, maybe trying to get our missiles."
It could. The problem with the internet is it encourages what's called bias.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
So
All right. Well, speaking of the internet, let's go to the story number 2.
Okay. Well, everybody knows how I feel mostly about AI.
Okay. Well,
so we're going to talk about how AI is being used for a clinical trial for a depression tool.
Okay.
And well, I'll reserve my normal stuff.
Okay.
So Oxford University Department of Psychiatry is testing a digital tool known as Petrushka, which it said would personalize antidepressant treatment. Now, when we talked about this last night, we didn't really pay much attention to it.
Okay.
So it came out like AI therapist, which I have a huge problem with, right?
Okay. Yeah.
This is not that.
Correct. Okay.
So it uses data from more than 1 million people and recommends in real time the best antidepressants for an individual to use to treat depression during a consultation. So it'll take a bunch of metrics and then tell the doctor what may be the best medication for him to prescribe. Okay, so they want to recruit about 200 participants by the summer. The trial will involve more than 500 participants in total. What Petrushka does, it uses the information from each patient, such as their age, their gender, symptom severity, side effects, all these data points, and then it collates this and says this is the antidepressant that would probably work best with somebody. So it's an innovative way to empower patients and share decision making during the treatment process. The idea here is that there are more than 30 antidepressants on the market, but 9 times out of 10,
there's like only a couple that people prescribe, right?
Right. General practitioners prescribe one of just 4.
One of just 4.
So the one probably
the ones that they're most
the
common
ones
with.
that are most recognized or most advertised.
Yep.
Because in our society, the squeaky wheel gets grease.
It does. Yep.
So this means that patients may not be getting the treatment that would be most effective or sustainable for them. And the idea behind this is they want to treat the individuals, not averages. So they want to be as precise as possible and identify the best treatment for each patient sooner based on what they know works for patients with similar characteristics, rather than wasting time trying treatments that might be less effective. So in my world, this is a common thing, right? You go, a patient goes to the doctor, they get prescribed a drug, they monitor that person for an amount of time, and then they will try a different drug.
Okay.
And a lot of these things are need to be in your system for a while before you start seeing sustainable
success.
Okay. Right. So this is supposed to cut that down in time. So this patients can sign themselves up for the trial and attend a short screening process. This is also being carried out in Canada and Brazil. The trial manager said the study will last 24 weeks in total, but after 8 weeks, they'll see how many participants are still taking the allotted treatment. This measure will tell us how acceptable or well-tolerated a treatment is, and then they will collect information from the participants about their mood, anxiety, quality of life, and any side effects during the entire duration of the trial. This particular trial is being funded by the National Institute for Health and Care Research. So this is where I think AI really is an effective tool for us.
Okay.
because they're going to be using this.
They're using it's kind of like what they did with all the animals we've talked about, how they have these huge databases of information and they can catalog it. So AI has the ability of these decision makings to collect these large data sums.
It's taking large sums of information and collating them in a manner in which it
makes sense,
and it's more difficult for human beings to do. Whereas the ones I go off on almost all the time are the ones that use AI to pretend like they're human, or to act in a humanish manner.
And I know James Riddle likes AI, and he's going to be on next week, so we'll talk with him. He likes it in the aspect of it can do lots of tasks that are menial tasks that people can make errors in all the time in the medical field, and it's kind of the same thing that you have there. Instead of someone randomly just picking those 4, now just think of all of a sudden you prescribe the right symptoms.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues with this whole doctor thing is the doctor knows the patient.
Yep.
But he may not have basically a database of other patients that have these similar characteristics. So this is how this is going to be utilized.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You all right?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay.
Let's move on to the next
story. Number 3.
Story.
This is an interesting one. You got your pencil ready? Does anybody know what a pencil is used for? A pencil is a tool that will rewind your cassette tape.
Grandpa.
That's what it was used for. That you would stick it in there, rewind it, because after you used that Maxwell tape more than 15 times, the sucker would just stretch.
Is it live
out.
or is it Memorex?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, what do you got for us, Odie?
Cassette tapes are coming back in 2024.
In 2024,
which is insane.
It is.
How do you feel about that, Odie?
Personally, they're okay. They're really cool to look at.
Yeah.
But coming from somebody that, other than the fact that you could actually cut, the tape of a cassette
and tape it together.
And then tape it together.
Yeah, no one ever does that. Let me just tell you. No one ever did it. You throw away the tape cassette.
Right. Other than that, they're useless. In my personal opinion.
Oh, well, yeah, you never had to experience all the other stuff.
How about digital decay, though? Is that real? That's what people are saying that's happening. Their CDs no longer work because the digital decay happens. So tell us more about cassettes besides that. Do you have more?
Well, at CES 2024, manufacturer FIO, I'm assuming that's
FIO.
Okay. Came out with their own new and improved cassette player that basically has Bluetooth capabilities. You don't need a AA battery.
Okay.
It's rechargeable.
Okay.
And and with the boom of, Taylor Swift's last album, she released the album not only on vinyl, but also on cassette. That's not just a Taylor Swift thing.
No, I get that. What I find funny about this is, okay, so a few of us here remember when Walkmans came out.
Yes, I do.
And they were cool. They were cooler than sliced bread because you could take your music out and do stuff.
Yeah.
But you carried this big blocky thing on your belt.
Probably about 3 pounds.
That was it was like 80 pounds.
Yeah, you're never jogging. You're literally having a hip seizure as you're walking.
And you probably got 2 extra tapes in your pocket.
Yeah.
But this brings forward a very important question. Are boom boxes going to come back as well?
Oh.
I've been thinking about it.
They should.
I have. Does it surprise you that I have some boom boxes at home?
I have boom boxes somewhere.
So you know what? I could put them back in, and I can put them up by my ears, and I can be like in the 80s and go down the street and listen to my music.
You never cruise down the road with a boom box on your shoulder and a freaking fro.
I don't see cassettes coming back as like a public thing.
Okay.
I see it more as what you do personally for your own collection, like vinyl.
Okay.
Because at that point you have it. The sound quality is not that great. First of all,
no, it's you're not getting a high fidelity sound.
There's a very different sound coming from a tape
it's mono.
than a record
vinyl.
player.
Yeah, it's mono versus stereo, and then also cassettes are not reliable at all.
No.
Vinyl.
How do you know this, young Padawan?
Yeah,
how do you know this?
Put this out in your car seat.
Oh, you did.
Leave one in a car seat overnight, and
it's all warped.
Yeah, and a nice hot day on this weekend, and all of a sudden your cassette player will look like your seat.
And we carried like these big boxes.
Yep.
In our cars.
So we'd have to put them
cassette tapes, and you had to shove them under the seat.
Yep.
Or cover them up with a blanket or something because it would melt.
I can see why they're coming back in the sense of people want to own physical music. iTunes is gone.
Yeah.
You can't buy music digitally anymore.
Correct.
You have to download it in a weird way that I won't.
Well, you have to have a subscription service.
Yes, your subscription
Yeah, but
service.
you never own it.
Yeah, you don't.
Oh, I know.
The moment you're off, unless you know to download your music ahead, the moment you're offline, it's gone.
No go.
I'm glad. I wish iPods would come back.
Oh, I got like 4 or 5 of those at home too.
I don't know why you're always advertising your hoardiness.
Sorry. I'm just saying. The iPods are fantastic.
Yeah, iPods are amazing. They're rechargeable.
And you can still use older machines, the old Mac machines that I have.
I still have an
old
iPod,
and you can still copy files down to it, and you can burn a CD on an old Mac that you have in a laptop.
Yeah, iPods
and put it in there.
CDs.
Yep,
just beautiful. But cassettes.
No,
I don't know.
I think we should go back to 8-tracks. What do you think, Mark? Do you think we should go to
8-tracks were...
Mark was all about this last night.
8-tracks
Well,
were
they're better.
Yeah, they actually were better
quality.
sound. And he never had to rewind it.
It's the same thing with, what was it?
Betamax.
Betamax with VCR.
Yep.
It just one happened to be more popular than the other.
One happened to be marketed better than the other, and it became the thing.
It's whatever catched on first. Yep.
So
Tickle me Elmo.
So you're not going to be getting yourself a cassette player.
No.
Okay.
I've thought about it, and I almost really did, because I'm a fan of Harry Styles, and with his recent album, he had the
So you can buy a high-end record player that comes with a cassette player.
I wonder if this has anything
to
to do with Guardians of the Galaxy, because Star-Lord runs around with a Walkman.
He does.
But he's
and
stuck
his
in
mixtapes.
But then he what is it? He
He had a
changed to iPod. Or no, not iPod. What was it? It was an
Zune.
MP3.
He had a Zune, a Microsoft
A
Zune.
Zune.
That was disgusting.
What was that? What's a Zune?
I got one of those too.
So
Yeah, you worked at Microsoft. You probably have embroidered napkins or something.
I only have one Zune, so it was really good. It has all my soundtracks. And just yesterday, I was listening to music at the office, and we had a whole soundtrack battle between who knew what soundtrack, how quick you could recognize it.
Yeah,
I did
that
pretty
with
good.
us.
I did pretty good.
anyway,
Okay.
going back to the thing. A cassette, I don't have any joy putting it into the cassette player and doing. But vinyl, you have to take care of it. You have to put it on a specific way. I don't know. It just feels better to own vinyl.
You want some vinyl records? I got a whole bunch.
Oh, I'll take them.
You want some?
Mhm.
I can bring
You
some.
have a player.
I have a player. Of course
good
I
for
do.
you. I think I always
It's
think
a bad player.
That's what I got my son for his birthday.
I think it's always cool
records.
when younger generations go back to stuff that we had when we were kids. And they
I
wanna
still
use
have all my CDs and all my Disney movies on DVD. I refuse to get rid of them. I know that I don't have a DVD player anymore, or
You can go buy one at Walmart.
I could go buy one, but I don't. Just in case. that's my fail-safe. If the world goes into chaos,
That's why
You
I
watch
have an
Disney, you watch
Xbox.
Disney. All right.
That's why you have an
everything's ready.
Xbox, so you can play CDs
You
and
still-
DVDs.
The original one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, breaking news. Story number 4. Hackers claim to have breached Europol's web portal, but forces say no significant data was stolen. Let's go to David Larson with more on the story.
U.S. President Joe Biden has ordered a Chinese-owned cryptocurrency miner and its partners to sell land they own near a U.S. nuclear missile base, citing spying concerns. The land is less than a mile away from an Air Force base in Wyoming, where intercontinental ballistic missiles are stored. The proximity of the foreign-owned real estate to a strategic missile base and the presence of specialized and foreign-sourced equipment potentially capable of facilitating surveillance and espionage activities presents a national security risk, the White House said in a statement. The latest announcement from the White House comes just a day before the Biden administration is set to sharply increase tariffs on several Chinese imports, including electric vehicles. Do we have spies among us? Back to you in the studio.
I think you're going to have to fire that guy.
Have you ever had deja vu? I swear we just talked about this story.
I feel like we just talked about this story.
Did you think this was the story that we
You
talked
got
about?
to fire him. He can't keep his story straight.
All right. I think, you know what?
What's the deal?
Yeah, there should be 2 files in there. Oh, okay. All right. So you know what?
What was he supposed to be telling
We're
us?
having a little audio difficulty. So we're going to just continue on with the story. I have it all right here ready to go. So here's what we got. Story number 4. All right. Hackers claim to have breached Europe's web portal. Maybe you know what? The hackers got into our system and took care of my audio.
I'm sure that's what happened.
They didn't want me to talk about
They just wanted you to, not talk about it.
That's right. Sensitive Europol data was pulled up for sale on a dark web forum, but the European Law Enforcement Agency is playing down the importance of this event. Security magazine claimed a known leaker given by the alias Intel Broker published a new ad on the popular breach forums on Friday. In the ad, the leaker claims whoever buys the new database will get plenty of sensitive Europol information. Those interested in purchasing this database, though, must have a proven track record on the underground forum. So this list of the sensitive information is not just available on the dark web. So the dark web is now starting to get into an elite status, where if you want to purchase this information, you have to have a proven record on the underground forum. You must have proof of funds, and you can only pay in Monero, which is XMR. Monero is essentially a private-oriented cryptocurrency known for being exceptionally difficult, if not impossible, to track. It is also the most common cryptocurrency mined by cryptojackers, malicious crypto mining software such as XMR Rig. That is correct. So it's the same one that's been taken care of. Now, the question that comes on up is Europol says that they are aware of the situation, but they said that no important data was taken care of. So I did talk with Nick about this, and he says that this is probably a much larger concern than our top story was in a concern. So who do you believe? Do you believe Interpol that no important data was released, or do you believe the hackers have important data that they want to share?
Would the government lie to you?
Well, we've been playing
any government lie to you?
We've been playing this game right now. Do you realize that the thieves are the most honest people when they post their stuff?
Yes, I am often astounded by how much quality a hacker organization has in the form of customer service
and details of easy to find. I mean, they just got it down to a science.
Yeah, and I don't know.
All right, so we got more that's going to be coming on this subject. This is going to be, I'm sure,
we're going to talk about this with Nick.
Not next week, but the week after Nick's on the show, and I'm sure this will be one of his top stories he will be talking about.
All right.
Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on, Gwen Way is up with our gadgets and gear segment with a product that needs some help coming to market. But this is already not in the market itself, but it's actually available to purchase. I have one of these in the studio today that we'll go and pass around. All right, so everybody, you're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum. See us after this commercial break for that one gadget Gwen's going to talk about.
This is Mark.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer.
Called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mum. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. Of course, a little whiskey on the side. We're a little bit behind.
Let's see if Mark is gonna
Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is back in studio. So, Mark, what have you chosen for us today?
Today we have chosen Woodinville Private Select. It's called Nectar of the Gods, and it was chosen by the Vancouver Whiskey Aficionados group.
Oh, okay. And
you didn't even taste it.
So what is that? No, I haven't tasted it. I tasted it last night.
I know you pre-taste everything.
You can taste it again today. A couple of sips while I tell you what Woodinville says about this whiskey. So they say this bourbon starts with traditionally grown corn, rye, and malted barley. All their staple grains are cultivated exclusively for them on the Olmland family farm in Quincy, Washington. The grains are mashed, distilled, and barreled in their Woodinville distillery, then trucked over the Cascade Mountains to their private barreling houses where Central Washington's extreme temperature cycles promote the extraction of the natural flavors from the oak and their barrels made on their on-premise cooperage. Now, this meticulous process yields a truly handcrafted spirit of aromas of creme brulee and spice cabinet, as well as notes of rich caramel, dark chocolate, and vanilla bean on the palate with a sweet, lingering finish. Now, this is, as we mentioned, from Woodinville Whiskey Company and their distillery in Woodinville, Washington. It is straight bourbon. This one is non-age stated, and the mash bill is not stated either. It's 114.78 proof and goes from roughly $60 to $70.
Nectar of the gods.
Yeah.
Are you liking this?
So far, this is not bad.
Wow. Okay.
I usually have issue with this particular distillery.
Yeah, okay.
But this one is not bad. It has a nice finish, and it doesn't have a harsh burn at the beginning.
Okay.
And it's got some pretty robust flavors.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Well, thank you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Keep sipping. Sip it a little bit more, Nathan.
I'll keep on.
Take a second sip.
So, I'm very negative on this.
Seizure when he
I'm very negative on this brand, so I don't really like it normally, but I will give it a full show to see if it gets any
And this
better.
bottle was courtesy of our friend Chris.
And we appreciate Chris. And poor Chris. I think every bottle that's been on the show I've ripped on Chris. Is that correct?
That's correct.
He's going to be like, I'm never going to give him bottles again. So I may have to. This isn't as bad today.
You can't change your mind just because.
I know. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Now we got to move. Since our first whiskey tasting is completed, we got to go to Gwen Way, who's joining the show. She's an expert in cybersecurity during the day and a game board geek in the evening, as well as a producer of Tech Time Radio and our Gadgets and Gear gal. Let's get ready to start our Comcast video stream and our next segment, Gadgets and Gear.
What's new in our Gadgets and Gear?
All right, Gwen, welcome to the show today.
Grab tickets.
Oh, there it is. What?
Whoa, audio board person. Wow. Okay.
I was just going to say those darn hackers.
Those hackers, they're coming back into us. That's what I guess. You know what? I should worry about the people in China next to the missile command. Okay, Gwen, before we dive into the gadget, yesterday at the production meeting, the story was pitched. It did not make our top 4 stories of the week. This is regarding Ascension, a U.S. healthcare network that's essentially diverting ambulances in several hospitals due to a suspected ransomware attack. You are a cybersecurity expert. Can you give us a little intake on what's going on in this story that did not make our top 4 stories, but you brought it to the production show meeting?
I did, because I think this is an interesting story. A lot of people, when they hear cybersecurity, they just think, oh, that's for big businesses or tech companies. But no, it can affect everybody at any point in life. In this case, because some of the hospitals in certain areas had been hacked, the Ascension crew felt unsafe taking patients to that hospital because they knew that the patients wouldn't get the best care possible.
This isn't Kaiser, is it?
It's not. No, it's not Kaiser for
No, it's not.
Okay. They got it taken care of.
But yeah, so what they've done is reroute patients so that they can get quicker care. I know this has happened quite a few times in recent memory where a hospital gets hit. They either don't have access to the records, they can't actually access the lab work from tests that they're running. And at that point, it's just a hazard to be a patient in that hospital.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Our poor healthcare, man, it is all connected now. I went in and I changed providers at the beginning of this year to a different provider, and I was going in for my 10-year checkup event, and I literally get there, and because it transferred over, the information was not ready to have taken care of, and I was just coming from another event, and I'm running in there. And so
you got that message, huh?
Yeah. So
my message was, don't treat this guy.
Well, so I'm trying to get everything taken care of, and I swear they must have been hacked, too.
I feel like I should be more angry about this, but I think this is.
I think our healthcare data is just out there now. So be very careful what you tell a doctor, because whatever they write down about you, essentially, will be out there in the public for them to look at sometime in the future. That's what you just need to be.
Unfortunately.
There's nothing you can do about it. Everybody has some vendor or controller that's sitting in there. It is. It really is. All right, Gwen.
It really is.
Let's talk about our gadget and gear here. Now, I did a little bit more research last night because we had Mr. Gregoire ask us a bunch of questions. And so I got some good answers for him, too, that I'm sure I gave you the show notes, so hopefully you got them, too, so we can take care of this for him. But what are we looking at for our gadget today?
We are looking at a pretty super cool gadget, honestly.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about battery packs and power packs in the past, where they're rechargeable. You pack them in a bag. They're usually pretty hefty, about the size of your phone, if not a little larger. And they're heavy. They take up a lot of space. They're also only good if you're able to recharge them.
They're like Walkmans.
So, exactly.
If you don't have power, you don't have power, right?
So if you don't have a place to plug in your power bank, it's not going to do you any good.
Okay.
Today's gadget is called Batterix. Battarix. And it
show and tell
is exactly what I would call an emergency power card.
Okay.
It's not so much for the everyday, hey, I'm on a plane and I want to make sure that I can watch all of this movie, or I'm out and about and just need to charge my phone quickly. This is something that can be used in an emergency.
Okay.
Basically what it is, I know you've got one there in studio if you want to hold it up. It's a credit card sized battery.
Very slim, very slim.
Very slim. You can just kind of plug it on the back of your computer. It's got Lightning and USB-C adapters, and you can just plug it in and charge your phone.
Okay. So now this is a one-time use type of deal, right?
Yep. It cannot be recharged.
It cannot be recharged.
Disposable.
Well,
exactly.
Well, yeah, it is. It is. But we'll go a little bit more on that. So it's kind of like a one-charge use. It's really small. Yep. Now, what makes this device different than a regular charger, and what makes this unique besides the size factor? What else can it do?
There's a couple of things. Okay. Number one, this has an 8-year shelf life.
8 years.
That's huge.
That is big.
Even most normal batteries like AA, AAA that we deal with, you only want to keep them around for about 5 years.
5 years, that's tough.
How do we know it has an 8-year shelf life? It's only been out for like less than a year.
Well, because of the technology that they have. Well, there you go. Look at Mark. Mark's drinking. He's like, yeah, no, okay, no. Okay, it's an 8-year shelf life because of the way that they store the cell battery.
Exactly. What makes that good is that you can use it in a bug out bag. You can use it for a storm shelter. You can take it in your car if you're driving in the winter or in an unknown area, so that you're always able to charge your phone in case.
So all you prepper non-Luddites out there.
That's right. This is like it. This is like the now, you know what? Since this is disposable, though, then it must have e-waste, and we've been talking about e-waste where we hate e-waste here. So it must be that this gets destroyed and it's filling up landfills, or is there a place for this to go that makes this be able to be recycled? Tell me a little bit about that, Gwen.
Actually,
battery fairy comes and gets
it. Hang on.
Right. Actually, lithium is one of the most recyclable metals.
Okay.
It simply costs more because usually you have to break into the battery and separate it out and all of that kind of stuff. But with any battery, including these batteries, you can actually take them to some big box stores. Staples is a great example. You can turn it in there and they will recycle it. And on top of that, a lot of municipal recycling companies are actually getting on that bandwagon and are able to recycle e-waste as well.
That's right. And
what about the manganese dioxide?
Well, it doesn't. It's all lithium.
That's lithium manganese.
Yeah,
oxide.
this is like the crack cocaine of lithium. It's just all lithium in here to charge it.
Exactly. That's why I was actually saying that it costs more to recycle lithium than it does to dig more out. And that's because you have to separate it. Yep. But it is possible and it is functional.
All right. What's the price of this unit?
It depends on how many you want to buy.
Okay.
If you go to battarix.com, again, BATTARIX.com, yep. You can get one for $18. You can get 3 for $15 each. and it just keeps going down. You can even get a 10-pack for $14 each.
There you go. You can get it on Amazon. They're all over.
Yeah, I'm just going to rush out and buy a bunch right now.
Don't be stealing mine. Now, Gwen, are you going to go and buy one of these and put them in your bug out bag if you have a bug out bag?
That is my plan. I'm going to buy a couple, have one in a bug out bag, put one in the car. So if we're driving somewhere and something happens in the middle of nowhere, we can charge our phones and call for help.
Perfect. That sounds great.
He wants to say something.
What's that?
Doing heat.
What's that?
How do they do in heat?
How do they do in heat?
Yeah, a lot of batteries, when you leave them in the car in heat, they discharge.
They do better than tape players. But I, you know what? I don't know the exact temperature right here. It does say contains the lithium battery. Keep away from heat sources, direct sunlight, humidity, or
there you
water.
go. You don't keep it in your car.
So
No. Kaboom.
That's
we
we
might be reporting on this one later.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, Gwen. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's always a pleasure to talk with you about new gadgets. I'm sure we'll have something great next month when we have you on the show. Let me tell you, I got a whole bunch of pending orders with all the other stuff that's going on. I haven't got my robot yet. My desk robot. So we got to see that and a couple other things. You saved the budget this week because we didn't have a new Kickstarter. So I saved the money. I appreciate it.
I'm trying to help out as much as I can. I can't promise anything for next month.
All right. That sounds great. All right. Well, that ends our Gadgets and Gear segment with Gwen Way. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we're going to be doing so during the break. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum. See you in a few minutes.
Join the fun and grab tickets to GeekFest West, the 3-day Geek Festival extravaganza of fun and entertainment that will take place on the third weekend in July. Learn more at geekfest.com. GeekFest will feature diverse activities, including a film festival, vendor hall, street fair, outdoor music festival, cosmic cosplay, and video game tournaments. Join us at GeekFest West, the ultimate celebration of geek culture. To learn more, visit geekfest.com. That is geekfest.com.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going to go back to May 10th, 1894, the birth of wireless. Now, wireless is born when Guglielmo Marconi.
Guglielmo?
I pronounced his name so many times on YouTube. I did the YouTube deal to pronounce this guy's name. Marconi. Well, Marconi, sorry. I was looking at the MO before. Sends a radio wave 3/4 of a mile. 3 years later, the Marconi company was successfully communicating to ships to shore over a distance of 12 miles. Marconi's work led to the commercialization and the proliferation of most of our radio technologies we know today. Now, do you know, this is the thing here, wireless spectrums, I go off on this because I'm a spectrum nerd, okay?
Yep.
Let me just tell you, they have been around forever. So the idea of bouncing radio signals off of particles is which allows everybody to listen to our beautiful show on Kixie 880 AM in the Seattle market.
Okay.
There you go. All right.
Let's talk about aliens. All
right. That was This Week in Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 200 weekly broadcasts spanning 4+ years in videos, podcasts, and blog information? You can visit techtimeradio.com or watch our older shows. We're going to take a commercial break here. When we return, we have the Mark Mumble Whiskey Review. And, of course, Mike's Mesmerizing a Moment. See you in a bit.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for, Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Well, today is May 14th. It is a lovely, lovely day today.
Is it May Day?
It is not May Day. That's May 1st.
Okay. Is it May 14th? Is it?
It is a joyful dancing day.
Oh,
it is
Footloose Day.
Dance like a chicken day.
Oh.
Come on, everybody. Flash
yeah.
your
Remember
wings.
that?
We
We
got
Remember that?
75% of the people doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to hold out. I'm going to be the holdout.
Now, this day is all about reliving those fond memories, Mike, of busting out the iconic chicken dance.
At the roller rink,
I
baby.
never did the chicken dance.
You didn't go to the roller
ever.
rink with little
That's
Dave?
why-
Yeah, I went to the roller rink, but I never
That's
did
why
the
I
chicken
changed the
dance.
next one. I was going to say everyone has done the chicken dance, but I wrote almost everyone has done the chicken dance.
Okay.
The song we know as the chicken dance song originated in Switzerland in the 1950s, and it was in the 1970s that America caught on, and it took off on the charts. So pop on that song, everybody. Dance with your friends to the chicken dance today.
All right, I like that song.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm feeling all jazzy now.
I know.
All right, well, let's talk about today. So we're talking about the nectar of the gods.
Yep.
And so if you want to make nectar of the gods, you need to start off with a god of whiskey. In the beginning, the
chicken?
No.
That is not a chicken.
Okay.
No. In the beginning, the two good friends who started Woodinville, Orlin and Brett, were mentored by one of the industry's most respected icons, the late Dave Pickerel, who was a legend and a god in the world of whiskey. He taught him everything he knew about making excellent bourbon and rye whiskey. If you know anything about this distiller, he was considered the founding father of craft distilling. He put Maker's Mark on the map, and he created both Whistle Pig and the Blackened brands. And Blackened is the one that is actually made with Metallica music. Okay. Now, Orlin and Brett received the best whiskey-making crash course that anyone could provide. Now, like the God's Nectar, it is said to have both positive and negative traits. So like the chicken dance, which can bring joy to Nathan and negativity to Mike, the question is Woodinville Private Select Nectar of the Gods joyful or negative? For me, this one brings a little negativity to my taste buds. Sorry, Chris Cantrell. You're probably laughing your ass off listening to this, but I think I'm going thumbs down on this one.
Okay.
A little too much grain forward barley.
You're not supposed to do that yet. We're not.
I'm not the official thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
Yours is done, and mine's still. It may go down the drain. All right. Well, you know what, Mark?
Yes.
I always love your whiskey
Are you gonna
mumbles.
do it?
I love
and
you too,
whiskey
Nathan.
and technology. What a great pairing. Like batteries and remote control cars.
Oh my God!
You remember having a remote control car as a kid? Their batteries would wear out, and you have to go.
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes. You go outside, get all ready to play.
I
and then
did
it was-
all these things that you're talking about.
Well, of course you do. You're not that
I'm
much older
older.
than me. We're almost the same age there. All right. Let's prepare for our Technology Fail of the Week, brought to you by Elite Executive Services, technology experts to help you out of a technology fail.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
You know what? Apple does something that a lot of companies don't do. They say they were sorry. You know what? They are apologizing for the controversial iPad Pro ad. Now, Apple has apologized and admitted it missed the mark with its latest iPad Pro advertisement. I did not see it until last night.
Yeah, we all watched it last night.
Yeah, the new Apple ad is a backlash from viewers who say that it hits the wrong note. The ad posted on social media Tuesday by Apple CEO Tim Cook was met with backlash from internet users who felt the ad celebrated technology's destruction of human creativity and art. In the statement, Apple's Vice President of Marketing Communication, Tor Myron, apologized. Creativity is at the DNA at Apple. It's incredibly important to us to design products that empower creativity all over the world. Myron said, we missed the mark in this video, and we're sorry. The ad show symbolized human creativity like musical instruments, paint cans, and 80s arcade video games all being busted up and the head of a human crushed by a gigantic hydraulic press. As the metal slabs, all the hydraulic press lifts up, and it shows Apple's new iPad Pro is revealed with a catchline, it's that thin or it's thinner type of deal, saying that the internet backlash of this ad is essentially huge. Its symbolization of crushing creative tools is an interesting choice, said social media users. Now, with this, Hugh Grant said that this was horrible by Apple, and now Apple makes a rare mistake. It's funny is they still got lots of press about it, so it kind of hit the mark on their press of what they needed to have been taken care of. But now let's go immediately into Mike's mesmerizing moment, Mike, because I got a question about this itself.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com TechTime-205.com.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about it. So people are getting upset about this. Now, I watched the ad, and it was not as polarizing to me as a lot of these expressions from these people that said that this was like AI taking over people and crushing people.
Yeah, well, we know you're not a very big creative guy, too. So.
I'm not a very big. No, I'm not. I'm a much more analytical guy, right? I the creative stuff kind of gets this. What's your take on people's reaction, and why did it get such a negative connotation?
It's called attribution.
Okay,
we attribute things and meanings to things, right? So symbolism has attributes that we apply to it. And so we're watching a commercial of a huge hydraulic press crushing all these
pianos,
pieces of creativity that humans have delivered over generations.
Okay, yep.
And destroying them, and out of the ashes comes this little piece of technology.
Yep.
So in a sense, we're seeing this sort of reductivist kind of, look at all this stuff, instead of thinking to the tune of which I'm thinking Apple was probably trying to get across, is that look how much stuff we can put into this thing. It's awesome.
It does all these things.
We are
music.
We're seeing
art.
people. Yeah, we're seeing people look into it and going, oh, is that all it's worth for all these creative pieces of art and whatnot? Is that it's all destroyed by technology.
Okay.
And, we talk about this all the time. You never know how advertisement and marketing campaigns are going to hit people. And this is an example that it just hit them wrong, and people saw this negative side of it and really responded to it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so you know what? We're going to continue that thought, and we're going to go right now to the Nathan Nugget.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
We're going to be talking about portable AI devices that aren't ready for prime time. We're going to talk about the Rabbit R1.
What?
The human AI pins aren't worth your money. Yeah, so it's very interesting because all these remember Ray-Ban and Meta? Essentially, they came out with this new Skylar frames.
Google glasses.
Yeah, they came out with Skylar frames, which is supposed to be this awesome AI hybrid type of thing. Didn't quite make it to prime time. The Rabbit R1 is a $100 handheld. It's about half the size of a phone, and with a 2.8-inch screen and a scroll wheel that you can go through an 8-megapixel camera. And essentially, it's a GPS gyroscope sensing motion detection that's available. The Rabbit R1, despite its tiny size, is just simple in design. It can call an Uber and order a DoorDash translation of conversations that you record voice memos back and forth, so you can pick up your item if you have somebody with a different dialect upon any orders that you do.
Okay, it's not doing well? It's not competing well with the digital phone.
Well, let's talk about all this. So all these devices, to get the devices that you have this thing right here, right? It's called a phone.
Yeah.
So this phone
it's literally a computer in your pocket.
It's a computer in your pocket. It can do your GPS.
Yep.
It can do your augmented reality. If you play have you ever played Pokemon Go?
Yep.
You can do the whole background of where you're at. You throw stuff at it. That's an augmented reality aspect. It can play video games.
Memos.
It can do voice memos.
It does everything these little gadgets do.
It does all these things, these gadgets. And these gadgets are all selling for $199, $299, $399, $499. To get what your phone can do, you would have to pay on these gadgets. I added it up. You'd have to pay $1,800 on these new gadgets that are out there to do everything that your phone does at a standard price of about $500. Now, there's $900 phones and there's $1,200 phones. So I don't want to just say that that's the case. But normally your baseline one-year-old model, if you go and you buy it outright, it's about $500.
And it's $500.
It's about $500. Yeah.
Okay, because we know that you
I don't buy the new phones.
But new phones are always marked up to like
a new car. So I buy one that's a year old or 2 old. So why do all these companies spend this research and development to come up with something that is inferior to your phone and have you buy it?
Oh, because they're stupid?
Well, I don't know, because I sign up for all of them. So I don't know. I end up doing that. So I'm like the worst person.
Why are you asking that question,
I don't know why I do this, because my phone does everything.
I think they're trying to get on some of this nostalgia, because I know one of these items looks like a Star Trek communicator.
It does.
I think they're just trying to ride. They're cash grabbing. They're looking for something to grab cash with,
It's got to be something because it's just not. It's not.
It's dumb.
It's not that great. Guess what? If you have yourself a phone, you got yourself a calculator, which my teacher in school told me I never would have a calculator in my pocket.
Oh, you're not going to tell this story again.
Yeah, so then they were so wrong. Let me just tell you that. Well, let's now go to our pick of the day whiskey tasting.
Mark, what's our
already
whiskey?
gave it a thumbs down.
We did Woodinville Private Select Nectar of the Gods, which was chosen by the Vancouver Whiskey Aficionados Club. Okay. It is from Woodinville Whiskey Company, straight bourbon, 114.78 proof, roughly $60 to $70.
$60 to $70.
Well, Nathan's going to give it a thumbs down.
I didn't like it that much. I've tried this. I'm not a big Woodinville fan, so I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
I was okay with this.
Okay, so is that a thumbs up?
That's hard for me to tell because I wouldn't buy this, so I'll say a thumbs down, but only reluctantly because it did have a nice flavor and finish, and it wasn't. I didn't dislike it as much as I like other Woodinville products.
All right. Well, it's an honor to be the host of your show today. Make sure you give us that 5-star review, and remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today. See you next week.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.